Okay, so welcome all to SVC's Spotlight on Various Careers. Throughout this week, we have presentations from our partner organizations, sort of a presentation on their sort of career path and their experience with volunteering. There are a couple of lectures that are sort of specific on sort of topic areas. So for example, the USW one later today is going to be more on sort of partner placements and sort of giving you some guides and information for that. So here's just some housekeeping rules before we start. So all videos are going to be recorded. The presenter will be pinned to the main window. If any audience does, the video of any audience member does get into the sort of the recorded feed, we'll make sure to edit you out post at the end of the week. But feel free to obviously send any messages in the chat and we will ask the presenter at the end of their talk. So all audience members will be muted and they won't be allowed to share their screens. So we're recording all these videos so we can post them onto our website, well, onto a website called Flipgrid, which will allow the public to view all the videos that we've recorded throughout the week. And those will be available throughout the year. There's comments section. So if you don't have any comments today or any questions today, but you think one live down the line, or you're watching this via Flipgrid, please post a comment on Flipgrid, or again, if you're watching this live in the chat, and then I can get back to you and get you an answer as soon as possible. If you sign up for this event through Eventbrite, we'll be sending some feedback forms at the end of the week. This is to sort of see if the talks were useful, if people enjoyed them, and if there's anything that we can improve on if we do the event again. If you do fill out the form, we will be automatically entering you into a prize draw, and then you have a chance to win an Amazon voucher. If you have any questions about the event or you don't want to post through the chat, please feel free to contact me at vicechair@svccamry.org. And here are some more of our sort of social media handles. Obviously my email. If you want to see any of the events that we are running throughout this week, you can go to Eventbrite, and we've got a tiny URL for you to follow. So that's tinyurl.com/svc-event1, and just paste that into your URL bar or in your browser, and you should be able to see all the events that we are running for the week. So that's tinyurl.com/svc-event1. The link at the bottom then for Flipgrid is where we're going to be storing all the events and all the videos. There's nothing on the website at the moment. We're just going to edit the video, we're going to do any post presentation editing. So we're hoping to get that all on Flipgrid at the end of next week, which will be the end of 5th of December. So that's flipgrid.com/SVC events, and that's where you'll be able to find all the videos from this week. That's all from me. So today's speaker is Khaleel, who's a development officer at the Hugget Centre. So I'll take it over to you, and if there's any questions, please post them in the chat, and then we'll ask them towards the end. Khaleel, thank you for joining us today, and I'll leave it to you.
Thank you all. Thank you, Denise, for taking part in this clever presentation. My name is Khaleel Alale. I am the Development Officer here at the Hugget. I have been working at the Hugget for over 5 years, but I've been the Development Officer for the past 18 months. Prior to coming into Homeless Services, I was working with individuals with learning difficulties. So again, in the community and around the social care sector. And prior to that, I worked in the youth service for over 6 years with Safety Wales. How I got involved in working in this specific sector. I think in each sector I worked in, it tailored into each pathway I've taken. I used to attend my local youth club, where you should just pop in, have a good kick about, etc. Until one of the youth workers sat me down and explained to me the importance of volunteering and how they can make a huge impact in your life and to others. So at first I didn't really take it on board. I didn't know what he was on about, didn't know what he was referring to. So as a youngster, I would say, yes, I'll do whatever just to please someone that I respected. And then during my volunteering days at the youth club, I understood that I was gaining confidence, gaining skills and things I was able to use going forward. Thankfully, I stuck with it, and I think it played an integral part in where I am today. So then, obviously, I attended university. I studied a social science degree, which again would help me in regards to working in this specific sector. I was thankful that my volunteering opportunity at the youth club I worked in, which was called Riverside Warehouse, gave me opportunity to become a youth worker, which I was really grateful for as I was, the terms they used was I came through their ranks. I was a young person that attended the youth club and obviously transitioned into being a member of staff. I found the transition to be hard from becoming individual, played football with their friends, then to be able to deliver sessions to younger people than myself that I knew growing up. So I think the transition period was a bit tough for me, but at that time I was only 18, and I think it was again another critical and important part of how individuals can adapt to the environment and adapt to what the tasks they need to complete. And then obviously I was thankful I was able to finish my degree. Unfortunately, the funding was cut at that Pacific Youth Club, which meant I had to move on to another adventure. I joined the organisation by the name of Dimensions, and they do a brilliant work and brilliant job supporting individuals with learning difficulties. And I think that's another job that I had to go into and try and adapt and try and display the skills that I was able to capture whilst I was volunteering. And that will lead me on to here. I work at the Huggard. Yeah, it's been a long time. My first role was a casual worker, which I didn't know much about the homeless sector. I just applied for the job, thought I'd be able to come down and do a job. The first day attending, I was quite taken back and quite deflated with how individuals were being treated in society and how individuals were down their luck and how individuals never had as much structure in their lives to myself and to others. So I think that's another hard transition for me to go into that role and try to take that on board and try to support individuals best way I can. So I'm able to put structure in their life. I'm able to develop a pathway from. I'm able to refer them to organizations that would benefit them, that would be able to develop their skills and enhance the skills they already have. And yeah, I'm just going to speak on what my current role is here at the Huggard. My role is development officer. My role is to try and develop and engage with individuals best way I can, and I do that through many methods. One of the sessions I put on most mornings is a development session, and I will help individuals develop their skills, and that is allow the individuals to make a CV, update their CV if they have CVs, put them on training, have a range of courses available, apprentices available, and employment opportunities. And it's a way of clients come in, realize what opportunities are out there for them, realize that they're able to achieve their goals if they're supported and if they take on advice and being willing to give it their all, so they're able to achieve their goal. And the other side of my role, I do a range of activities and sessions where clients can come in, take part, build skills, and that will bring me on to the great work myself and SVC have done. SVC have been a tremendous help with the Hugget, and I've been a beneficiary for many years, and I'm thankful and I'm proud to be involved with SVC. Sorry, we deliver, myself and SVC deliver 2 particular sessions here at the centre. One of them is called a social club. Prior to the social club, prior to the pandemic, clients volunteers would be coming into the centre to engage and deliver sessions, but due to COVID-19 and the pandemic, we were able to come up with a plan to be able to be a presence and able to deliver the great engagement that they were doing. And SVC came up with the idea of doing an interactive social club via Zoom. And I think the aims of the session is to socialize with our clients, engaging with them with a range of activities. It includes arts and crafts, cooking, board games, informal conversations and discussions, and current affairs. The project is really valuable to our clients, and they look forward to it week in, week out. It's possibly, during the 18 months of me putting on sessions with Hugget, it's possibly the most popular session that I'm able to put on for my clients, which is a huge thank you to SVC. The other sessions that we have created is a development from the social clubs. The social club is a nice way of individuals coming in to reduce stress, to increase self-esteem, to empower individuals. And the other natural progression into the next session is called a skills and wellbeing session. The project is an opportunity for the clients and volunteers to enhance skills and wellbeing through befriending, wellbeing session, and skills development. So it's a 1-hour session via Zoom. Volunteers will be put in pairs and matched with the client, and also the volunteers will offer 1-hour Zoom session each week, agreed time for a maximum 4 weeks. The clients will outline different kinds of activities they would like to do. For example, mindfulness, yoga, cooking, interview skills, literacy skills, whatever the individual thinks they need help with. For argument's sake, we had one specific client that at the minute, unfortunately, he's not in the best of places. So he wanted to take part in a mindfulness session tailored to his needs week in, week out. Alale and a brilliant team were able to match him with tremendous volunteers that were able to that were upbeat, that were able to match his energy and to uplift him and to pull him through the dark times he's currently going through. And that's a clear example of how brilliant work and the brilliant things that can really happen to the thanks of SVC.
Thank you. So you talked about sort of the skills that you sort of developed, that your confidence sort of increased. Is there any other skills do you think volunteering can develop in sort of someone who's just starting out in? So what I'm asking is, what other skills can volunteering develop, do you think?
Many skills. It can, like I said, I don't want to repeat myself, to apologize. It increases your self-esteem, it increases your confidence, it helps you to enable to multitask, it helps you to work as a team, and also it helps you work on your own to use your initiative. It helps you with timekeeping, it helps you with communication, it helps you become a better listener. In general, it helps you become a better person when you're working with individuals that are not as fortunate as yourselves.
Yep, no, that's fine. That's great. Thank you. So is there any sort of specific qualifications you think are essential for people to get into sort of the homeless sector or sort of your profession?
There's no specific qualification you would need to work in the homeless sector. I think staff are quite fortunate that they were able to build the experience going forward to help them transition into different roles. But I think to help you, social science is always a great qualification to have or degree to take part in. Youth and community, because it has got the community aspect. The homeless sector are a part of society. They are a part of the community, and we always try to integrate them back into community as much as we can to live a normal life. You can do a psychology degree. You can do, I'm trying to think off my head, what other degrees they could do. I think any of them degrees would be really beneficial for you to take part in. But I think, yeah, just being able to help individuals will be marvelous.
Okay, that's great. Have you seen your sort of the industry change since you first started? Or do you think it's still sort of the same?
Yes, I think the industry is tremendously changed. I remember when I first started, there wasn't that many services clients would be able to be referred to seek help and support and guidance. So during the years, there have been many developments in and around the Hurgate. Teams are being built. I think the Welsh Government and the local authority are now putting together better strategies to try and tackle the homelessness issue we have within Cardiff. And yeah, it has changed dramatically. Prior to the pandemic, the local authority only had one hostel. Now, as we're still in a pandemic and coming up and we're towards the end and rather than the start, they have opened up 5 hostels. They've got a team of social workers, counsellors, CPNs, the team I'll be venturing into activity coordinators. They've got a list of people that they've realised that individuals need structure in their life. They need to divert the attention into something positive rather than negative. So the industry has totally changed since when I first started.
That's great. So you mentioned sort of what the government's currently doing. Is there any steps you think they need to be doing in the future to sort of develop the sort of program that they're doing any further?
I think the steps that they're currently taking are working, and I think they need to recognise that. I don't think some of the strategy and some of the things they've outlined are working. So I think as long as individuals are able to reflect and look back on what's gone well and what hasn't gone well and try to, because anything we implement in life is not always going to work, but I think if they have the ability to understand, right, that hasn't gone well, why hasn't it worked, what can we do better to move forward, as long as they have them type of conversations, and as long as there's enough accommodation as well, going forward, I think they'll be able, because that was the issue before. There was individuals sleeping on the streets, and I would get my neighbour or my mate that would say, "Oh, I constantly see people living on the streets," but I would never tell them this. But back then there wasn't enough beds for individuals. Now there is. So as long as they can keep up this, maintain this great work they're doing, reflect on what's working, and I personally think that is the only way of going forward.
That's great. Thank you. So is there any steps that the public can take to sort of help end this sort of crisis, or do you think that the government is doing enough, or is there anything just Joe Blogs from the street can do you think?
I think if an individual that would like to take part and like to volunteer within these organisations, and they've got a skill that they can offer, I think that would be a tremendous help. I think if you want to if unfortunately you weren't able to, at the time to come in and volunteer, I think to donate towards the Hurgate, and that would be another way you could donate, or even just pick up the phone, give the likes of ourselves a ring and say, I want to make a change. I want to see if I'm able to make a difference in someone's life. is there anything out there I'm able to do? And then you can do a sponsored run. You could just have a discussion within your family, and there's ways of individuals can get involved. And I think if they did, it would be brilliant. They can go on to SVC's website and volunteer and express the interest to be a volunteer. That's a brilliant way of getting involved.
That's great promotion for us. Thank you, Khaleel. I've got two more questions left, if that's okay. So how has the centre adapted to the pandemic? Obviously, you've got clients coming in. Sort of what sort of steps does the Haggard Centre take to make sure everyone's protected? And yeah.
We were fortunate that the staff were able to still be able to come in and deliver the brilliant services that we're able to deliver. So in regards to services, that stayed the same. If anything, we've increased our services. We've just employed a counsellor during the pandemic, and she's started this week with us. So that's another service that we're able to offer. In regards to what changes we have made, before the pandemic, we had an open door policy, which meant any client would be able to access, whether you live in a hostel, whether you were going to be housed, whether you had structure and a routine at home. If you felt you didn't, some individuals felt they didn't fit in certain parts of society, and they felt home at the Haggard because they've been here for many years, they were able to present. So open door policy, anybody's welcome to come in, anybody's welcome to take part. So what has happened during the pandemic to reduce the numbers of individuals coming to our service? We looked at who really needs our services. So the dramatic changes we've made is only individuals that are rough sleeping are able to attend our centre and access our services. And individuals that are currently accessing our emergency overnight provision, they are able to access services. So prior to the pandemic, we had up to 120 individuals taking part. Like John would be as experienced when he used to attend the centre and put on sessions. There used to be, once we put on a karaoke session, and there was about 70 people in the building, in the same room as us. I think, obviously, due to the pandemic, we're not able to do that, which is unfortunate. But I think these are measures that we have to take, and now we have up to 20 people accessing the centre. So it's the numbers have dramatically changed. Yeah. Obviously, we complying with social distancing. Each client has to wear masks whilst they're within the facility, and they're the changes that the Haggard have made to try and bring the centre through the dark times it's in.
Yeah, it's really great that the centre's still been able to offer its services to the most vulnerable, and it's great that sort of being able to prioritise people who need the sort of protection most. I always like to try and end on a happy note. So this last question is, do you have any sort of fond memories of clients who've met sort of earlier in your career, who've left the centre, got sort of back on track per se, and then you've met on the street and had a great conversation or something?
Yes, there was one individual that I supported, and she was accessing services, she was really eager and keen to go back into the profession that she was in, which was hairdressing. So we would make many inquiries, send many referrals into places so that she's able to have an apprenticeship or have a placement somewhere whilst we book us enroll onto a course into college. At that specific time, she had a lot going on in her life. She had mental health issues and substance misuse, and I was always quite honest with her and to make her aware and recognise that as much as you want to move forward, I think we need to address these two issues, because they're the two issues that's going to hold you back. I'm like, in regards to mental health, we all suffer with mental health. I think, but in regards to what you can have, you can be supported through these difficult times. But in regards to substance misuse, we need to address them. We need to put a plan in place. You need to receive help, and you need to think that all these will come into line if we're able to tackle issues together. Because I said to her, you're not in this on your own. I'm here with you as well. So to be fair to her, she was outstanding. She took everything on board. She seeked help. she sought help from the local mental health services. She took huge steps into reducing her substance misuse issues, which she later was able to not be on any substance whatsoever. She was able to get into college, and she was able to become a hairdresser. She was able to work in town as a hairdresser, and during lockdown, when we were able to go out and socialize to a certain extent, me and the clients went out for a bike ride onto the Taft Trail, and she was walking with a buggy with a child in the pram, and it was just so heartwarming to see that she was able to come so far and be able to live the life that she can, and be able to give the best life she's able to give her child. And yeah, I think that's one fond memory that I'll probably never forget. And I don't want to forget, to be honest.
That's a lovely story. Is there anyone in the chat that wants to ask anything before we end the session? I can't see anything in the chat. So thank you, Khaleel. I really enjoyed the session, and I bet other people watching this video will as well. It's been great to work with you through SVC, and thank you for all the effort and the motivation that you put into the sessions. I know the clients definitely appreciate it.
Oh, thank you.
So I think we'll end the session. So thank you again, Khaleel, and I'll see you soon.
Thank you. I'll see you soon. And to anybody that's able to watch the video back, if you want to volunteer, I suggest you go onto SVC's website. They do a tremendous job. Be a part of their team, make a difference, and thank you very much.
We'll be using that as a soundbite. Thank you, Khaleel. Take care.
Thank you. Have a good day. Take care. Bye-bye.